We have 8 victims today. I don't think we have 8 sentences. So I'm going to go down my list on the right and we are going to read. We're going to do this just like we did it before, where I will project. Can you see? Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. So we left off at Hey Morka Kim Twam Kim Mama Putra Hansi Tava Duskritenaham Dukamanu Bhavati. Let's start reading though with Hey Morka. So where's my list? Unless someone wants to volunteer right off the bat.
Me and Josh, one of us will start.
Oh, great. Good to see you there, Josh. Josh, let's go the both of you. So Josh, do Hey Morka all the way to Hansi. And I want you to read it out loud. And then if you have a translation you've already written out, fine, you can tell that to me. But we need to work through and talk through all of the grammar, all of the words, explain what's the verb, explain what's the pronouns, blah, 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 blah. Just like I did in the video with the other students. So start off at Hey Morka and go all the way to Hansi.
Okay, so Hey Morka.
Yeah. Hey Morka.
Wam Ki Miti.
Yeah, try to get that a little shorter. So it's not twam, it's twum. So twam would actually be in the accusative. So twum.
Ki Miti.
Mm-hmm.
Mama. Putram.
Putram, yes.
Hami or Hamsi.
yeah, you want to do that. It's Hansi. And you'll notice that I have my fake tooth out so I can pronounce properly. You'll live. Hansi. Okay. Do you want to venture a guess or do you want to go word by word? How do you want to start?
Let's see. I have some notes. Let me pull them out actually real quick. We had to move. So let me see.
You know what? Actually, don't look at your notes. I'll work with you. Just look right at the screen. We'll have a learning experience together. All right. Find me the verb. So this is basically all one sentence. And we'll get back to the Hey Morka in a second. So where's my verb?
Okay. Is it Kimiti?
No.
Okay. Let me see.
It's not that one. It's that one.
Okay. Hamsi?
Hansi. All right. Now, you're right to clue into kimiti because that kind of looks like a verb because it has a T on it. Yeah. But before we really need to figure out that verb, we have to note that there's an et there. So where's the et?
Et is right there at the end of kimiti.
Yeah, so kimiti is 2 words. So what is an et? What does it do? Yeah,
quotation.
It's a quotation mark, or it's like with reference to this. Sometimes it'll mark a subject. Sometimes it'll mark a list of things. But yeah, so you know that's there. And when you see that, you take everything to the left of it and you just forget about it for a second. So looking to the right of the et, we have Mama Putram Hansi. So where's my nominative? Because, Hansi is in singular, plural. What is it?
Wait, Namsi? It's
Hansi, right there. Hansi.
Wait, it's singular.
Singular?
Now, vadati, vadata, vadanti, is it the you form, the he, she, or it form, or the they form, or the I form?
Wait.
They form, right?
No. Vadasi.
Oh, wait, it's vadasi? Oh, so it's in second person, right?
There you go. You got it. Second person because it has the C at the end. So that's Hansi, which is the second person plural, or not second person singular. So what you want to do is now you want to find a singular nominative. Do you see a singular nominative?
Isn't okay. Mama is not a singular nominative, is it?
Nope.
Um,
Is it Putram? I think it's Putram.
Nope. But wait a minute. There has to be something. Well, no, there doesn't. So this is the root hun, which means to kill. So
Yeah.
there is no nominative. You provide it. So it will a sentence will always have some verb form, but it won't always have a subject form. So you would look at this and you would look at this and this says you kill in the presence. So that's a kill is obviously transitive. It takes an object. So who gets killed?
the sun.
The sun. What declension is that in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Shit.
I think it's Putram. I think it's
Is it instrumental?
yeah.
Now,
It's
now
accusative?
there's a declension number that I said is often the object. Remember what the object tense is, or the object declension is?
Is it
Not accusative, right?
It's accusative. So, reading right along, we got he kills. He kills a boy, a son, putra. Now, what is mama?
oh mama is genitive. Or
Gen-
wait,
Right.
genitive.
So, you kill my son. Now, we have this iti here. So the iti means that he said something, but we don't exactly have like a verb that says, like up here when we had chintayati with the iti up there, that's a real easy one. Because he thought, what did he think? He thought the iti. So here we have to just realize that this is twam kim iti. Oh, I guess, yeah. So here you go like right here. Up here, sorry, I'm not speaking right. Go to Hey Morka above. What does Hey Morka mean?
Like fool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morka means fool. What declension is it in? What number?
Where's Merca? Oh, Merca. It's third person, like third, like it's genitive.
It is not genitive. You're getting in the right direction. Hey Morka. So if you started with Rama, you'd go Rama, Rama, Ramam, Rama, Radam, and all the way down to the last one after locative, which is Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu. What comes after that?
Ramashu, Ramayoho. Shippo. I don't know.
I'm like blanking right now. I feel like it's because it's like we're on the spot.
Yeah, that's why these reading days are really important, because your brain codes things differently. You realize things you know, you realize things you don't know, and also when you read like this with me, stuff will get stuck in your head in a way it doesn't even when you're just translating. So, hey Morka, this would be like hey Rama. So, what's our first guess on this? You have a clue if you're looking at it, and that's the hey, right?
Yeah, like hey, like nominate. No.
It looks like the nominative, but it's something else. What's your vocative? That's the vocative form, as in you're addressing someone. So, hey, you fool. And then we're going to go twam, mama putram hansi. And twam, actually, I'm going to take in the nominative and connect it with hansi. You killed my son. And then for the kimiti, you are going to use this is a funny use. You see this a lot, but this kind of just lets you know that someone's kind of talking through something, that's a big question. So kim at the beginning of a sentence generally turns the whole sentence into a question. So read from Hey Morka to Hansi again and give me a translation.
Hey Morka. Hey Morka tvam kimiti.
Mhm.
Mama putram Hamsi.
There you go.
And so translation is "Oh fool."
Mm-hmm.
The He said, "You killed my son." No.
It's why did you?
Why
you?
did you kill my son? Oh,
Yeah,
fool.
it could be why. It could be
That's
what have you done? It could be a lot of things. The Kim interrogative particles have a lot of nuance that you have to do from context. So if I was writing this up like I did here to teach, hey Murka, I noted the hey is indeclinable, Murka is vocative, twum, I was like, yeah, I know what a twum is. Kimiti, I note the et right away. Mama, putra, hansi, and then I note that the root is hun, and then it is parasmaipada, and then it is a class 2. We haven't learned verb classes yet, but we will. So I just want to expose them to you for now. All right. Yes.
That was really helpful. Could you just read the sentence again? And like with the hey, you said it was vocative. Could you just say that one more time? I wanted to make a note.
Hey, Murka. So hey is an indeclinable. Murka is vocative, singular masculine. Twum is you, and that's our personal pronoun. First masculine singular. Kim et, Kim is an indeclinable. And then when I'm reading, every time I say an et, I always put a little slash right there. So I note what's going on. Then I have mama and the genitive, demonstrative pronoun, my. Putram, accusative, masculine, singular. Putram, meaning son. Hansi is hun, the root hun. I make a note that's the root hun. And that is the second class in the parasmaipada. All right, Riley, you're up for the next one.
Okay. Could you go back to the other?
Yeah, I'm going to. Hold on. There you
go. Tava, dushku, dushkri, ti, te na ham.
There you go.
Duha,
ha. Yeah, good.
Yukam ma nu ba va mi.
Yeah, really quite good. All right, so listen to me chanting it, and then I want you to do it one more time. Well, not chant it, read it. Tava, dushkritenaham, dukam anu bhavami.
Tava dushkritenaham, duka nu ba va mi.
Yeah, there you go. All right, where's my verb?
One more time.
Tava dushkritena aham, dukam anubhavami.
Dukam anubhavami. Okay. The verb would be the last dukam oh no, dukam vamvami.
All right. The what part of that is the verb? Because that's 2 words.
The bhavami.
Yes, and that is the Sanskrit root bu with a prefix of anu. So the Sanskrit root bu, which is, I believe, first class parasmaipada, it means to be or to become. With anu, anu kind of means following or toward. And so anubhavami usually means to feel. So it's a verb that's used with a feeling. So now that I have a verb, is that an I class? Is that a you class? Is that a he, she, it class? What kind of verb is that? Anubhavami.
I class.
The I class. So that is singular. Bhavami. So that means I'm going to look for a nominative singular noun. Can you see a nominative singular noun?
You wait. Hmm. Wait. I think it's. Well, it's Tava. You caused me. Wait, no. It's you did an evil act, and now I'm suffering. It's the act. It's the evil act.
No.
No.
So what's this here? Don't let the Sunday get you. It is as you
So
just mumbled. So we studied those and had the quiz on it last class. What is
to be.
No, it's the demonstrate or the personal pronoun.
No.
Okay, I am.
It's I. So that is singular nominative. Now we've got a little sentence. We have aham anubhavami. This is the way I read Sanskrit, and I think it really helps. Is you start with the littlest sentence, which is your subject and your verb. Your verb tells you that you're looking for a singular nominative noun. So aham anubhavati. I feel. Okay. So I feel, and then I'm going to want, I have some other words. I feel, and then what was this word? Dukam.
Suffering.
Suffering. And what is it? Is it a 1? Is it a 2? Is it a 3? Is it a 4?
1.
It's a 2. That's accusative. So here, with a verb of feeling, we are having him becoming sad. Now, we have do come. We also have dushkri. And then we had another one somewhere else. Yeah, and then we have do come up here. So duka, the du or dus or dush always means something negative. So do come, a bad space. Or in Buddhism, sarvam kalvidam dukam. All this is suffering. So you have anubhavami, dukam, and aham. Make that into a sentence. These 3 words.
I feel suffering.
Yeah, I feel bad. Just stick with I feel bad for now. All right, now we have 2 other words. What are those words?
Tava and duskrite.
Yeah, dushkrite. Now, there's a little bit of Sunday here. This is internal Sunday. So what you have is dus plus ka, and here you have dus plus ka. Here, dushkri, and here, dushka. There's a little bit of wacky Sunday in there, but you have a similar thing. So krita means an action, and duhu or dus that's attached to it means a bad action. What's the number of this noun here? Dushkritena. Like Ramena.
Ramena. I think it's first.
Nope. That would be dushkritaha. Dushkritaha, dushkritam. If I was going downward, it would be dushkritaha, then dushkritam, then.
Okay, so 3.
Yes. And what is the third case? What do we call that case in English?
Singular. No. It's
nominative, accusative, then instrumental. Yes. And you're doing the right thing by doing that with your hand. But I know that trick. All right. So you got instrumental. You're back to your sentence. Aham anubhavami dukam. I feel sad. Instrumental. The instrumental is an agent or a cause. So I feel sad due to or by means of a bad act. Now, how does tava come in there?
It's from what we just did, it's you.
You.
Yes, but it's in what number?
Accusative?
No. Oh. Well, maybe actually. It's 7.
No, it's 6. Tava is genitive. So read it again and then tell me a good, nice sentence.
Okay. Tava dushkri te na hum
Mm-hmm.
dukam
Mm-hmm.
nu bavam.
Okay, here, say this after me though. Dukam anu bavami.
Oh, dukam anu bavami.
Yeah, I know it's hard to see the in there because they're connected, but that's 2 words. Dukam anu bavami.
Dukam.
Okay. Translate it for me.
Your
Mhm.
bad
Remember, we don't have word order like we do in English. So start with, so you see the verb and then you see the nominative. Start with the nominative, then the verb.
Okay. I am feeling bad.
Yeah, then read left from Dushkatena.
Read left from Dushkatena. Oh, Tava, your bad action.
Okay, so when I say read to the left, watch how I read this. First thing I do is I find my verb, anubhavame. Now, Sanskrit is a language that is called left branching. English is right branching. That's why we have subject, then an object, then a verb. Sanskrit is left branching. So it's subject, object, verb. You find your verb, then you find your subject. Now you're turning it into English, but you're going to read it like English in the Sanskrit. You'll see what I mean. I, aham, anubhavami, verb. So subject, I, anubhavami, verb. Then so subject, verb, object, bad or badly. I feel badly. And then I go to dushkritena and I read to the left. So due to this bad act of yours. Or you could say your bad act. I feel badly because of or due to your bad act.
So subject, verb. Wait. Well, no, because we started with like I feel, and then we went.
So subject, English is subject, verb, object. Sanskrit is subject, object, verb. But you can't translate Sanskrit as subject, object, verb because that would sound weird. You'd sound like Yoda all the time. So aham is our subject. And then I'm going to change it, the word, I'm going to use English word order. So aham, anubhavami. I feel dukkam. That's going to be the object. I feel pain due to your wicked act. See how that works?
Yes and no, but I think it's just going to be trial and error.
It's really just get it so you can read it. So you can look at, like, read it for me one more time and translate it.
Like you just did?
Like I just did.
Okay, so aham, I, and then bhavami, I feel, and then do
To come. To come.
come. So I feel bad, and then Tava, your or and then duskri te.
Yeah. So duskritena. So, I mean, one way I kind of think about it is when I'm translating, I follow the word order of the declensions. So, nominative is 1, verb is not a declension, but then 2 is object. All right, so nominative, then object, so that's accusative. Then I have instrumental, that's the 3rd one, so often I'll put that one 3rd. And then tava is 6th. So I'll put that after the 3rd one. You can cut, it doesn't always work, but that's a good way to start.
Oh, so you're saying that by depending on the case that for now.
For now.
Yeah, it tells you the order of how to do the
It
sentence.
can. It doesn't always, but at this level, it kind of does. So if that helps you to think that way, think that way. At least remember to always find the subject first, so your nominative and your accusative. Those should always be the first thing you look for. And then the other ones kind of get in the way. And then flavor everything else. All right. Atlas. You there, Atlas?
Yeah.
All right. Do Putrena.
Okay.
We'll let you go I'll let you do 2 sentences.
Okay. So, Putrena Vina na Jiwami. Basically, like I can't live without my son.
Okay. Well, what's the verb?
Jiwami.
Right. And what's the root for that one?
Jeev.
It's Jeev. Excellent. So it's Jeev, and is that I, you, they?
That's
he?
first person singular.
First person singular. Okay. So now you're going to have to look for, first would be a nominative. Do you see one?
No, it's implied.
Good. It's in there. So then the thing you're going to need to deal with is the na, which just means no, and it's indeclinable. So that's just, it never has any declension. So now
Right.
explain to me the cases on Putrena and Vina.
Putrena is the instrumental singular case, masculine, astem. Vina is an indeclinable, meaning without.
Right. So we have 2 indeclinables in this reading, ativa and Vina. Ativa is an indeclinable that intensifies. Vina means without, especially when it is connected to an instrumental. So read it again and tell me your translation.
Putrena Vina na Jiwami. I don't live without the sun.
Yeah. Putrena Vina na Jivami. Yeah, we haven't gotten a causative yet. We haven't gotten a number of the nuances, but yes, I do not live without my son. We'll learn more grammar to be able to say I cannot live without my son. All right, let's go and do this next one, Atlas.
Okay. Twamapya hamiti
Eva.
chokam.
Hold on, slow down.
Oh, sorry, did I say?
Yep.
Oh, Iwa. Thank you. Yeah, Twamapya hamiwa putra chokam. Yeah, chok. Lost my spot there. Chokam nu chokamanu
There you go.
wasiti.
All right. What do you think I'm going to ask for you to do first?
Identify the verb, which is anubhawasiti.
Yeah, but I'm also going to say be aware of that et. Be very aware of that et.
Well, yeah, sorry, the et there being the quotation mark.
Yes. So you always deal with the et first, because then you can figure out, if you don't deal with it first, you'll end up with weird syntax.
Right.
Stuff won't agree. So you've got anu bhavasi. Now, is that what's my prefix and what's my root?
The prefix is anu, the root is pub, and it is second person singular.
Right. So, well, yes, second person singular, and it's the same here as anubhavami. So this is our same verb that we had above. So now that you have your verb, you're going to look for what? You're going to look for your nominative.
Yes. Which is also implied.
Well, I don't know.
Well, okay. Sorry, it's not implied there, but it's saying this one was kind of difficult for me to do like an exact English translation of, because I feel like we would be using different tenses basically, but saying basic,
and that's
like me, may you experience sorrow. And so I don't really know how to verbalize, articulate with grammar.
We'll get there. All right, so you've got anubhavasi, and you've got aham, and you've got twam.
Yes.
So twam and aham, what case are those going to be?
Twam is the nominative singular. Aham is also the nominative singular.
Right. And you have Uppy and Eva. What are those?
Uppy means like. Eva, or sorry, no, uppy means even or two. Eva means like.
It means like or as.
Yep.
So that's what we'd call a comparative particle. All right, so we've got all those figured out. We've got our nominatives, we've got our verbs. Now I need an object. Where are my objects?
Shokam,
Okay, and what does shokam mean?
grief, sorrow.
Yes, and then what's our other word?
Putrat, which is what's it called? An ablative of source.
Yes. So we haven't really done two, but we're going to do more ablatives in the next chapter. Can you explain the sandhi to me there?
The T become before the sha becomes a C plus a cha.
Yeah, it's your ta becomes a cha and your sha becomes a cha and they morph together. So ta plus sha becomes cha. So putrachokam. All right, now let's see if we can put this together one more time.
Like me, even like basically you two experience sorrow over the sun.
Yeah, start with the I. So you go you anubhavasi, and that's experience, but we're going to say will experience as if it's in the future, or as one of the many subjunctives, or in the optative, may you experience. But sometimes with these singular verbs in the indicative, they can take on a lot of nuanced meaning. So I'm comfortable with you or let you or may you feel the sorrow from a son, aham eva, as I do. So your best translation would be, may you feel grief over a son or from a son as I do, as I feel that grief. That's a tricky one. Okay. Who else wants to go? We got 3 more.
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay.
The first one.
Nripo vadati.
Yes.
Ho
Ha ha.
nashayamiti.
Okay, stop right there. Okay. So what's Nripo Vadati? What's going on there?
That is the king speaks.
Right.
Spoke.
So this is the nominative. This is present indicative, the he, she, it form, singular. However, we got to remember this iti here. Mm-hmm. So the king spoke. Is the king going to say all that? Or you have another iti over here, nasham iti. Or is the king going to say all of this? So let's get to the next sentence, but be aware of all the ETs we have around because they're dangerous. So ha, nashamiti.
I'll keep reading.
Yeah, we'll translate ha, nashamiti.
Okay. Is it hey die? Like
alas, and then nashyami. What is nashyami? Varati varataha varanti. Varami?
You.
Nope, that would be varasi. Varami? It's like this one.
Oh,
I. There you go. So we have an iti here. we have that vadati. Itis can sometimes go this way and sometimes go that way. So this is basically a closed quotation mark. Unlike in English, you don't have open and closed quotation marks. It's not like there's two ETs that branch everything off. They just throw an ET on there and it's basically like the end of a quotation. Sometimes you can get to an ET and haven't been read quite some time, like, oh shit, somebody's talking. That happened to me recently as I was reading something. So, nripo vadati. So after all of that, after he's been cursed, the king says, what does he say?
He says, alas, hey,
Yeah.
I will die. I'm
Yeah,
dead.
it's not, it's I die.
I
We want
die.
it to be I will die, but it's I die. Don't worry, we'll get to the point where we'll have futures and subjunctives.
Okay.
But so now read nripo all the way to nashiamiti and give me the translation again.
Ripo vadati, ho ho,
Ha ha.
ha ha, ha ha,
It should be more
nashaya.
like ha ha.
Yeah, it feels very Shakespeare.
Mhm.
Okay. Nripo vadati, ha ha, nashayamiti, nashayam, yamiti,
Nashiamiti.
yamiti.
Yeah, there you go.
The king speaks. The king says,
Yeah.
ha ha, I die. I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it. You got it. All right. Last one. Volunteer. 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 Give me Tessa.
Okay. Did I volunteer? No.
Yes, you did. You just didn't know it. You did it
Right.
psychically.
Shokena
Mm-hmm.
pedito.
Yeah, this is a great one. Pedito. So you get that dot dot. Pedito.
Pedito. Pedito. Griham.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you want to be careful with that you really get that to be shorter. So griham. Griham. Yeah, that was the thing I was saying to Josh earlier, because
Yep.
griham actually does have another meaning. So
Okay.
shokena pedito griham gachati.
Sokina pedito griham gachati.
Perfect. All right. Where's my verb?
Gachati. He goes.
Yeah. Root.
Gum.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Now where's my subject?
It's implied or
Yeah.
well then
There's it. Yeah. I mean, it sort of isn't. And this is a thing with Sanskrit. You can have an adjective that means the one who is something. But for now, let's just say that there's an implied the king. He goes.
Okay.
And where does he go?
he goes griham home.
Yeah, he goes home. Now, what do you do with shokena and piditoho or pidito?
Pedito is the adjective.
Yeah.
Go with grief. So shokena.
Well, shokena is instrumental, right?
Okay, yep, with grief, the ENA.
Yeah. So pidito is actually in the nominative.
Okay, oh yeah, the O ending.
So it's going to agree with what? With the implied he.
With the implied, yeah.
Yeah. So how would I do this? Because I know more Sanskrit than you. I would say that one pidito, afflicted, pressed down by grief, gachati, goes home. Now,
Is that one comes from where?
the one who is
Afflicted.
grieved, afflicted by grief. That's because I know something in Sanskrit that you don't know. But what I think is better for you to do is take the implied he. So he, pidito shokena, who is afflicted by grief, gachati, goes, griham, home.
Okay. Well, I had said he goes home afflicted with grief or
That,
afflicted with grief.
yeah, that works. But you
But
really, I mean,
not one afflicted with.
the problem is you want to get that instrumental as close in your translation to your main noun as possible. So
Well, can you
because shoke na, I mean, it could be pidito, he is afflicted, or he who is afflicted goes home with grief.
Okay.
But I would rather say he, afflicted by grief, pidito shoke na, goes gachati home. Griham. All right, read it one more time and translate for me.
Okay. Shokena pidito griham gachati.
Yeah, good.
He afflicted with grief goes home.
Yes, yeah, you can do that. So another thing you'll notice is as I'm translating, yes, I know Sanskrit already, but the thing is you'll notice I'm always looking with my eyes to the screen. So I was telling the students last time that Ben Williams professor Parimal at Harvard did not allow notes in class. So you would just have to know how to translate it cold and have all the grammar like in your head. And he said it was hard. He was able to do it pretty well, and he learned a lot more that way, but a lot of students couldn't do it. So what I want you to practice doing is when you're reading with me, try to not look at your notes as much as possible. It's really hard. But I noticed in a number of my classes when I was taking languages, if I would try to read without the notes and just fuck up a lot and the professor corrected me, I would actually learn it more. But then there's the other problem of you need to take notes so you can go back and study and get it all right. So this is to say, I want you to do as much as possible when we're reading like this to, yes, take notes, but also try to be looking and reading off the screen. And one of the best strategies you can have, and maybe even do this daily from here on out to the end of the semester, go back to this reading, open up the book, open up the file with no notes on it, and try to translate it. And if you can just like read it and don't write anything down, just translate it out loud, and you'll steadily internalize the grammar. And finally, you'll be learning in a very organic learning a language manner instead of what we've been doing, which is learning funny Sunday rules and learning to write and code. So now we're really reading. You should all be very happy. We have finished the first reading. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to take a break, and then I want to blast through as much of the PowerPoint because I want to get through this PowerPoint by the end of next Tuesday and start reading on next Thursday. It's a short chapter, so I think we can do it. All right, you got 5 minutes. I'll be back. Okay. Everybody back? Show on up. All right. It's 4:10, so let's get started. This is chapter 5. Now, I'm going to go through this just like I did before in chapter 4 and chapter 3, but I'm also going to be calling on people to venture a guess on reading. So when we get to those, jump right in there. Don't worry, I'll help you. And also, I would like to note there are several words in the examples here that are not found in Goldman's glossary. So if you're studying chapter 5 and it gave you a hard time, that might be why. And I feel like he doesn't do that very often. I don't know why that happens in this particular chapter. Okay, so here we go. Where'd you go? Right here. You're right here. All right. So remember, we have all these various endings. So if you would repeat along with me, we're going to warm up real fast. Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi, Ramaya, Ramayam, Ramebhyaha, Ramat, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, or Hey Rama, Hey Ramo, Hey Ramaha. Now, in the neuter case, we have Vanam, Vane, Vanani, Vanam, Vane, Vanani, Vanena, Vanabhyam, Vanahi, Vanaya, Vanabhyam, Vanebhyaha, Vanat or Vanatha, Vanabhyam, Vanebhyaha, Vanasya, Vanayoho, Vananam, Vane, Vanayoho, Vaneshu, Hey Vana, Hey Vane, Hey Vanani. Sounds weird to say, hey forest, but what are you going to do? All right, now, today we are getting our feminine ending. So we finally will have all of our masculine, feminine, and neuter. So what will happen from here on out is you'll be memorizing declensions that are based on whether it's feminine, neuter, or masculine, and depending on the final vowel and sometimes the final consonant in a word. So this one is one that is just deep in my bones that I learned up and down, but I'm trying to do it left to right. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to chant this once or twice, and then I want y'all to start following along whenever you can. Get in there. This is how we practice. We sing together. Kanyā, kanyē, kanyāha. Kanyam, kanyē, kanyāha. Kanyāya, kanyābhyam, kanyābhihi. Kanyāyai, kanyābhyam, kanyābhyaha. Kanyāyaha, kanyābhyam, kanyābhyaha. Kanyaha, kanyoho, kanyanam. Kanyayam, that will trip you up. That instrument, that locative there, that will trip you up. The single locative. Kanyayam, kanyayoho, kanyasu. Hey Kanye, hey Kanye, hey Kanya. So it's a little screwy. Is that? Yeah. It's a little screwy in the vocative because you have the two Kanyes. But you just have to know it. Okay. So going up and down, was how I always did it. Kanya, kanyam, kanya, ya, kanya, ye, kanya, ya, 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 kanya, yam, kanya, ye, kanya, 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 yam, kanya, yam, kanya, yam, kanya, yo, kanya, yo, kanya, kanya, ha, kanya, ha, kanya, bihi, kanya, bihi, kanya, bihi, kanya, yam, kanya, chu, kanya, ha. That's up and down. I don't recommend you learn it that way, but if that's the only way it sticks in your head, it's the only way it sticks in your head. I'll get you some videos so you can practice chanting on your own. But for now, let's just sing through this a couple of times. Kanya, kanye, kanya, ha. Kanyam, kanye, kanya, ha. Kanyaya, Kanyabyam, kanyabi. You'll see that this one's really musical. I've always been able to get a lot of tones out of it. Kanyā, kanyabyam, kanyabyaha. Kanyayaha, kanyabyam, kanyabyaha. Kanyayaha, kanyayo, kanyanam. Kanyayam, kanyoho, kanyasu. Hey kanye, hey kanye, hey kanyaha. Kanya, kanya, kanyaha. Kanyam, kanye, kanyaha. Kanyaya, kanyabyam, kanyabihi. Kanyaya, kanyabyam, kanyabyaha. Nyayaha, kanyabyam, kanyabyaha. Kanyaha, kanyoho, kanyanam. Kanyayam, kanyoho, kanyasu. Hey kanye, kanye, kanyaha. Kanya, kanye, kanyaha. Kanyam, kanye, kanyaha. Kanyaya, kanyabyam, kanyabi. Kanyayai, kanyabyam, kanyabyaha. Kanyaya, kanyayaha, kanyabyam, kanyabyaha. Kanyaya, kanyayo, kanyabnam. Kanyanam, kanyayo, kanyasu. Hey kanye, hey kanye, hey kanyaha. Now, for a quick second, let's look at this in color. There's a lot of repetitions. And honestly, when I was first learning, I think that this feminine one stuck in my head the first that really hit like really solidly. And I think it's because of just all of the repetitions. So look, as you're going down your first one, you've got repetitions here, kanya yaha. Then when you come to kanye, that comes up 4 times. Kanyabyam, and remember that's the same as the abyams we saw before, but you just have to remember that it has this long and it has this long. You really have to pay attention to the long uhs in this paradigm. Kanyayo again, and then hey kanye, kanyaha. So you remember here that in the plural, the plural is the same in the first and the second. Kanya bihi, this bihi sound right here is really common in the instrumental plural. Kanya byaha. I feel like you can almost just like anytime you see an abya or an abyam, you go, okay, that's going to be messing around right in the middle there. That should say kanyanam, sort of like ramanam, and then kanyasu, so like tesham teshu. So there are a lot of overlaps in the patterns. So kanya, kanye, kanyaha, kanyam, kanye, kanyaha, kanyaya, kanyabyam, kanyabihi, kanyaya, kanyabyam, kanyabyaha, kanyayaha, kanyabyam, kanyabyaha, kanyaya, kanyayo, kanyanam. 1 second, Riley. Kanyanam, kanyayam, kanyayo, kanyasu. Hey Kanye, hey Kanye, hey Kanyaha. Yes, Riley.
So if any noun ends in these endings, is that a feminine noun, or is this just noting?
Sure. Let's look at this closely. Ramas, right here. So that's a masculine nominative, and I recommend you memorize the singular nominative because it'll get you your ending. So anything that's a ram with a short at the end of it will be ramas. So this is all words. So why can't I think? So any word with a short at the end. And then you get vanam. Vanam, you're going to memorize. The word is vana, but you're memorizing vanam because it's neuter. So vanam, pustakam, the sundaram. These are that's an adjective. There are words that are all neuter. All neuter words are going to have these endings. When you come to the long A ending, a long A and a feminine, all will be conjugated exactly and declined exactly the same way in this manner. So, Rajani Yojanima. I'm not good at dreaming up words on the spot. It's part of my brain. But yes, so this is the paradigm for all feminine nouns with a long A ending. There are a few masculine nouns with long A endings, but we're not going to worry about that. For right now, I want you to just keep in your head short A use Rama. If you have a that's neuter, use Vandam. If you have a long A at the end of it and it's feminine, anytime you see a long A at the end, it's going to be kanyā or feminine. You're going to use this paradigm for it. However, I mean, you just kind of have to get them all in your head. So you'll see these through practice, and we're going to keep practicing them. But this is what I want you to study, and I want you to have memorized for Tuesday. I know it feels like we're on the big bad memorization train, but we're at that point in Sanskrit. And you need to have these down so you can continue to read. And we're just going to keep building. So the more you review and have these well established in your head, the more that you will be able to recognize stuff immediately in the homework. And the stuff that you don't recognize immediately, you can go, oh, crap, that's something we just learned. That's like a new paradigm. So an important thing in Sanskrit is looking at any word and noting what is its final letter, and whether it's masculine or whether it's masculine, neuter, or feminine. So there's your patterns.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Can I ask
no
a quick
problem.
question?
Sure.
Oh, go ahead. Did somebody else say something?
No.
Okay. I'm wondering basically like how many different types of masculine, neuter, and feminine or nouns are there? Like
I don't know
other
off the top of my
stems.
head, but let's see. Let me see. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, about 10. About 10 each. But the thing is, they're really similar. So you'll get there. It's about 10 of them. Okay, so now we're going to look at these cases, the dative, the ablative, and the locative. Goldman gives you a very general overview that works. It really works. But at some point, you have to go beyond it. So I'm going to present these cases based on Goldman. I'll give a little bit of nuance. But there's a book called Sanskrit Syntax by J.S. Speijer, the Dutch guy, and it is on the Canvas webpage in your additional resources. And that is the best research to learn more about sort of the ways that these different declined nouns are used. So you'll see how sometimes you have an ablative that is sort of like a locative, or you'll have an instrumental that functions as a genitive. So it really lays out, I wouldn't say clearly, but extensively, the nuances of Sanskrit syntax and how words come together in a sentence. It's my favorite Sanskrit grammar book, but it's a hard grammar book because very often he will give you, let me see. Very often he has these like really crazy detailed like examples. Sometimes he translates them and sometimes he doesn't. And so you either have to translate it yourself or go, I'm not going to understand this example because I don't know the vocabulary, but I see what the grammar is happening there. So I picked this up my first year of Sanskrit because Paul Muller-Ortega told me to, and I've been studying it ever since. It took a long time for me to be really able to comfortably read the book, but I go back to it often. I find it actually quite delightful reading, but I'm a weirdo. Okay. The dative class, our dative case. Now, this is often called the gift case. This is the giving case. Oh, yes. And you may remember I gave you this reading by Maurer calling Rattling the Dry Bones of Grammar. It's about 4 pages, and it explains English and Sanskrit sort of grammar and word syntax really, really well. It's the best thing I've read in the most concise space. So review that for thinking about datives and ablatives and genitives and whatnot. Okay, the giving case. So dative. Think of that as the verb root da means to give. And when you give something, you give it to someone. So this dative case expresses to or for the sake of, or the purpose of. There's a lot of nuance. So I can use the dative to say that I'm doing something for another person, as in I'm doing something on behalf of another person. If I'm expressing reverence to a deity, I would say namaste. The te is in the dative. So namaste, dative. I give reverence to you. So that's te is the alternative of taya. And demonstrative pronouns, which we'll get to at the end of this chapter. Sorry. Anyway, so this is probably one of the ones I see the least. And it's the one that has a lot of vagary around it. So what you'd find if you were to study Latin and Greek is like the ablatives will do a lot. Some people in linguistics call the ablative like the junk case. We're going to get to the ablative in a second. And in Latin, because it just has so much nuance. It's like if you just don't know what to do with the word, you just throw it in the ablative. The dative, I think, probably has the most nuance and trickiness of it. But if you can remember for the sake of, for the purpose of, that'll really help you. Or you're giving something to someone. I'm making reverence to you. Namaste, to you. Often,
Possibly also another way to remember it is if you're dating somebody, you're inclined to give them small gifts.
sure, you're inclined to dative them. I'm dativing someone. So often it will have like an I at the end. So tasmai at the end of our dative. So let's look quick back for a second. Where's our dative here? Kanyā. So we're in the fourth, the dative. If we go back further, Ramaya, Vanaya. So I kind of like remember the sound I. So either this AY or this AYI sound. It's an I sound. All right, so let's look at some examples. And like we have done before, I am going to call on people. The first person I'm going to call on is Tanya. So I want you to read this out loud and talk through it with me. And I'll help you for anything you don't know. So read it out loud and give me a shot.
Okay. Divide Joe.
Yeah, Dweejo. I know this
Dweejo.
font is bad. Dweejo, yeah.
Dweejo.
Yeah.
Ria.
Yeah, bar ya yai. So it's got that yai in it.
Yai. Okay.
Can you take a guess on what's going on with that? It has a yai at the end of it. That's a dative. It's a feminine dative.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I just wanted to point it out. So it's actually bar ya with a long at the end of it, which means wife. So Dweejo means twice born. So just a Brahmin or a king or something, a twice born one. I could talk about that for a long time, but we won't. So we've got Dweejo, bar ya yai, and keep going.
Sa Riam or Rivam. Sarvam.
Yeah.
Ti.
Yeah. What is that? What is that? What is that a verb?
That is a verb.
That's a verb. Okay, we got a verb. We got verbs. Verbs are good. Verbs are good. All right, read the rest of it.
She did something. Some
You're close.
second
Do the
born
rest of
wife
it.
did something.
Do the rest of it. Do the rest of it.
Vanam. Oh, she's going to that damn forest again.
Yeah.
Cha.
Yep.
Gotcha tea.
Right. Do you see another verb?
Yeah, she's going to the fucking forest.
Oh, don't worry. You're going to hear more about people going to the fucking forest. All right. So we have two verbs. That's the first thing we're looking at. And they are you form, I form, he, she, or it form.
Well, they're feminine. Well, they're singular.
Yes.
And they're referring to the wife.
Well, no, we'll see.
Oh, okay.
So hold on. Don't take the You can't take the translation from the meaning. You have to translate
Okay.
the words. So we have two verbs, and they're in the he, she, or it form. Now, where is my nominative? There is one, I promise.
The nominative is the second born.
Yes, the twice born one.
Or-
Let's
the-
just say the Brahmin.
Okay.
All right, so that's in the nominative singular. All right, so I got a sentence. The Brahmin gives, and we're going to assume that's the same subject. The Brahmin goes. Now, what is he going to give? Give me an accusative.
He's gonna give what he's giving.
Yeah, what is he giving?
The thing, the savari.
Yeah, sarvam. So
Sarvam.
sarvam, if I should have told you what that word is, it means everything or all. So we're moving right along. The Brahmin, having given everything, gachati, goes to the forest, and there's an and. Goldman gave us a comma. We'll just take it. So my last word is baryayai, and I told you that that was in the dative singular feminine. So based on what we've learned about the dative, how would you translate this?
Hmm. The second born or Brahmin gives everything to his wife and
To his
goes
wife,
to the forest?
exactly. Yes,
Okay.
and goes to the forest. Perfect. That's exactly what it is. Read it to me again and translate it for me again. That was perfect.
Okay, so Davi
Dwejo.
Dwejo Brimi, oh gosh,
Baryayai.
Bar Yai
There you go.
Savram
Sarvam.
Sarvam
Mhm.
Dadati Vanam Cha Gachati. And
Yep.
then the second born gives everything to his wife and goes to the forest.
Perfect. That's exactly what it is. You got that one. Crushed it. All right. My next person is going to be Sarah. My victim.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, there's the notes.
Yud Dayagachamiti.
Mm-hmm.
Banati
Mm-hmm.
Viraha.
Viraha. Great.
Viraha.
All right. What do we want to attack first?
Oh, I want to find the verb.
Yeah, but let's note one other thing first. Is there an ET in there?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Where's the ET?
BT at the end of this long situation.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we've got the ET. We're going to take everything to the left and forget about it for now.
Okay.
Where's my verb?
Banti.
Yeah, banati.
Banati.
That is from the Sanskrit root bun, which we haven't seen yet. And it means, yet again, to speak.
Okay.
So is that you form, he form?
It's a he form.
He form. All right. Do you see a nominative that can attach to that he form, a nominative singular? Don't worry about datives. Look for a nominative and look for it after the ET.
Oh, after the ED.
Yeah.
Like, would it be like this Viraha, like the strong one?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. In fact, vir, meaning virile, manly, heroic. The heroic one, Vira, is also the name of an initiate into a tantric order who is striving towards liberation and personal power. Viraha. So, pardon?
Like in the Vera warrior pose? Vera
Exactly. That is exactly correct. Like the Virasana. All right. So we have our little sentences started. Viraha banati. What is that? What's my little sentence there, Sarah?
The strong one spoke.
Yeah, the hero spoke. And now we know there's an iti. So we're going to go, oh, now I know. He's going to say something. So now you go all the way back to the front and start again.
Okay.
Read up to the iti. I will warn you, there are 2 words here. And the Sunday is kind of tricky.
Well, there's like the double cha situation going on. Okay, so pud.
Don't worry about that double cha. Don't worry about
Right.
that at all.
Yud daya
Yeah.
and wait, no.
Oh,
Gotcha.
you're close. All right.
Gotcha.
It says, so that's gotcha me, right?
Yeah.
Just like gotcha tea. So don't worry about that double cha.
Okay.
So gotcha me, bar ya ya. What tense is that?
Gotcha me.
And what's bar ya? What's yud ha ya?
Yud haya. Oh, long A. It's a
Yeah, it's a really mean trick that Goldman is playing for you here, because that's not gachamiti, it's agachamiti. So
Okay.
it's yudhaya plus agachamiti. The prefix on gum, means to go. With the prefix, long A, it means to come. So yudhaya is in what tense? Not yudhaya, yudhaya.
Yudhaya.
Yeah. Maybe take it again. Maybe
Dative.
yes, sedative. And the word means, in fact, battle. So the Sanskrit root is yud, and it means like one who is yudha is a warrior. I would also argue that the word Yoda from Star Wars, because George Lucas he didn't know Sanskrit, but he knew what he was doing when he was reading mythology. I would say that Yoda is Yodha, which means the warrior. And someone who is Yauda is a battle-ready one. And we had this in the first line of the Bhagavad Gita. We had this same word. All of those ones out prepared for battle. So now that you've got the whole grammar, can you put it all together for me?
Okay. The virile one, the hero says, come warriors, come.
Okay.
Here.
Remember that's agachami. And is that the I form? Is that the you form, or is it the he, she, it form?
It's the he, she, it.
No. Vadami.
Oh, vadami.
Not vadasi, not vadati, vadami.
I.
Remember, vadami, me is I, me is I, me is I. I come, dative, battle. How does the dative work there? Remember, for the sake of. So, translate.
The hero says, I come for battle.
Yeah, that's exactly. I like that. I come for battle. I come here for battle. Yeah. So I come for battle, the hero says. Excellent. All right, Lindsey Brown. I got you a mantra. Show me where that dative is. Lindsay. You're missing your turn. Tess, are you there, Lindsay?
In the chat, she said she's got an angry something.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Let's go to Saskia.
Sorry, phone.
All right. Read that for me.
It's
Yeah, that's an ohm. I can't find the right character, but that's ohm. Yeah.
Okay. Maya. Namaha. Nama.
Yeah. Where's my dative?
I don't remember what dative is all of a sudden.
Remember namaste? I
Namaste,
bow
right.
to you. So Ramaya Namaha. Which one is the dative?
The last one.
No, that's a frozen one. So that's just namas. I bow to. Ramaya.
Oh, I see. What you mean,
See, so
because-
that's remember Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha.
Oh yeah. Oh my
All
god.
right.
Sorry.
So
Still sick brain.
it's okay. All right. So translate it.
It would sound like something you can't translate.
Yeah, but you can say it in Sanskrit. It makes perfect sense. Ramaya Namaha. I bow or I give reverence to or on behalf of or for the sake of the god Rama. So that's a really common construction. All right, I want to push through the ablative and then we'll call it quits for the day. All right, the source case, ablative. You're coming from somewhere. Now, I put this dark woods so you're going to have the idea of I'm coming from the dark woods because all we're ever talking about is these damn forests. Why? Because of the Ramayana. And we're going to get a lot more Ramayana plot as we go. An intriguing thing is that if you have fear, like if you tremble, you have tremble or you are perturbed from fear. So bayat. We'll look at an example of this. But it's interesting that I am afraid from fear. I see other affect nouns in the ablative, but if you are showing fear from something, so I would say fear of the dark, but it's fear from the dark. We also have a particle that is vina, that is like without, and it's similar to that vina with the instrumental. So from whence, and we'll look at these in an example and it'll make a lot more sense. These are a little abstract sounding here. Now, let's get after it. Atlas, you're up.
Hello. Okay. Where are we?
Right here,
In
Sangha.
the first one there?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sangha Sangatsam?
Sangat Sanjayate.
What?
Sangat Sanjayate.
Samgat Samjayat. Okay, thank you.
All right, and then
Samgat
right off the bat, because I
Samjayate.
didn't say this out loud, the long AT is your most common marker for an ablative. All right, keep going.
I just thought that like you still said those conjuncts together, like some.
I pause when I'm reading them out loud. If I was chanting, it would be Sangat Sanjayate. Sangat Sanjayate.
Okay, I didn't. Sorry, never mind. Whatever.
You're good.
Kamaha, Kama, Crow, Ho,
Proto, yes.
and then Pijayate.
Yeah. Now,
Pijayate.
I will warn you right off the bat. This one really pissed me off because he doesn't have a couple of these words in the glossary. Maybe he updated it, so you'll need a little
I
help.
don't have my book with me at all. I don't know any of these
That's
words.
great. That's perfect. All right. So first thing we're gonna do. Where's my verb?
The Vijayate.
Yeah, abhijayate is definitely one. That's atmanepada, and it is actually in the 4th class. I have it written down here to come into existence. And with the ablative, it means, and you find this in grammar notes, it means from. So to come into existence from an ablative. So
Okay.
the first things first, though, is we need to find our verb, which is in atmanepada. Is it in the I form, the you form, or the he, she, it form? Bashate.
I mean, sorry, I don't know that class though.
Okay. No, you do. Sanjayate, bashate. Bashate.
Okay, I thought that was the first class, not the fourth class.
It's the fourth. Don't worry about it yet. There's a lot of reasons.
These things
why John.
confuse me, and
It's-
I need specifics like this.
You are going to get them as the chapters progress. The problem is you have a wicked smart brain for grammar, but everything will be revealed over time. So this is a verb, atmanepada. Some is the prefix, and then jun, which becomes jaya, and then gets te on it. So sanjayate, he, she, it form. All right, so where is my singular he, she, it form noun?
Sorry, I'm trying to get back with this right now.
You're good. Follow the magic bouncing ball.
I don't know the pronouns. I don't know any of these words here.
All right. What I wanted you to just do is look at the endings and see if you saw anything that looked like a nominative singular. Here,
Okay,
and I'll work with you.
I see a visarga.
Yeah, so that's nominative singular kamaha. That word means desire, like Kamadeva, the god of love. Now, I told you this thing about this sun, Jun, and it takes ablatives. So here we have this word sangat, and we can see from the AT that that's the ablative. So sangat, sanjayate, kamaha. So desire rises or comes into existence from sangat, which means going together, from attachment. It was a very Buddhist statement. Now, we have this word kama again, and these two words are going to come, and these two phrases will come together. I've given you the notes here to make it a little easier. Read kamat krodha abhijayate and tell me what's going on.
Kamat is a dative. No, ablative source. Proto is a nominative singular.
Yes. And then we have
Abhijayate
abhijayate.
is a verb.
Yeah, and that means it's just the same thing as sanjan. Abhijan means something like produced, and then with an ablative, produced from. So this is a nice little sentence here, and one that's good to memorize if you so desire. Do you want to take another? I see your frustration though, my friend. Do you want to take another pass through it?
I just like not learning the meaning first, since that's the way that languages are best learned.
You mean with if someone tells you the English and then say the Sanskrit or the Hindi?
Like if I had the ability to know what these words individually mean, I'd be able to easily put it into a sentence with the grammar. But because of how looking only at grammar without meaning, it's literally meaningless.
Well, the way I'm doing this, Atlas, is kind of traditional. And what it is you read the Sanskrit and then you would parse it in your spoken language. Now, if it works better for you, take a look to the right, and there's all your grammar. So another trick to this is, and this gets a little easier as you move further through the book, is you kind of study the examples before class, and then you come into them and you kind of know where they're at. But if you don't have that, that's fine. Our important thing is to read through and understand our grammar and learn our new vocabulary. So we have sangat, which means attachment.
Okay, so from attachment, samjayate arises from desire, and then so hold on, the croto. I don't know what croto means.
It means anger. And
anger.
It's a nominative
Thank
singular.
you. Okay, so anger arises or is produced from desire.
Yes. So here's what you do when you're approaching this. You see, you have two verbs. You have sanjayate and you have abhijayate. We know that they're in the he, she, it form. So the first thing you do is you would look for your nominatives, which we see here are kamaha and krodaha. From there, you make the little sentence, as I keep saying. So desire arises and krodha, anger, is produced. Then I note my next tenses. I have two ablatives. Hamat, from kamaha. So it's the word twice, but once in the ablative and once in the nominative. And then sangat, also in the ablative. So turning it into English, desire, sanjayate, arises from attachment. Kamaha krodhaha abhijayate, anger arises from desire. So this is a way that you'll see a lot of aphorisms will look like this. They'll have multiple sort of ways of using similar grammatical structures to make some elegance. All right. On Atlas's suggestion, I'm going to take another volunteer and I'll put up the words in advance. So if you look to your right, you'll see all the grammar notes. And I would like, let's see, Tanya. Nagaradvanam gachati kumaraha.
Okay. I don't know. I kind of disagree. I kind of like just winging it.
All right.
But,
There you go. Wing it.
Okay. Okay. Naga ra gavam or nam. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a hard one. That's conjunct. Nagaradvanam.
Nagaravanam.
Nagaradvanam.
Nagaradvanam.
Yeah.
Gachati. Krum. Ma. Ra.
Yeah. So you've had all these words before except for kumara. Kumara means something like prince or young man.
Okay,
And
so
when a woman is worshipped as a goddess throughout the Himalayas, she's referred to as a Kumari, feminine. But this is masculine. So the prince, but
okay,
I need a verb.
Gachati.
Yeah, we know that one. We know that one. Solid. So the prince goes. And what else are we gonna do here?
He goes to let's see here. Naga the
Okay, so that's
wait.
2 words.
Yeah, hang on. So if I have a question then, if something ends in an M, like an M, is that like kind of an indication that that's like a noun, like a noun? Like
yes, the typical endings you will see are short vowels, long vowels, and nasals like a ma.
Okay.
Your indicator here is Rama, Rama, Ramaha, Ramam.
Okay.
Except this is neuter, so it's Vanam, Vane, Vanane, Vanam, Vane, Vanane.
Okay. So the Davanam.
Yeah, no, just Vanam.
Vanam.
You know this one. Kumara Gachati Vanam. The damn forest.
Oh God, he goes to that forest. So the prince goes to the forest, but there's something about the forest.
Yeah, Nagarat. Remember I was saying that long A and a T or a D. Why would it be a D? Because Va is voiced. Nagarad Vanam.
So it's Sunday-ized.
Sunday. Yes.
And was this the one that you were talking about, like the scary forest?
Okay. Stick with your verb of motion. Verbs of motion take an object in the accusative. The prince goes to the forest, but then we have an ablative, nagarat. And the ablative is a source, a place of reference beforehand. From
the forest. He goes from the forest?
Yeah, well, you know what? Actually, maybe you don't know this word. Nagara means city. So the king or the prince goes from the city to the forest.
To the forest. Okay, yeah. Into the forest. Okay.
Yeah, you got it. So read it one more time and translate it.
Okay. Nagara Nagara Davanam,
Mm-hmm.
Gachati, Kumaram,
Kumaraha. Yeah.
Kumaraha.
Right.
So the prince goes from the city to the forest.
Yes. Or you could say the prince goes to the forest from the city.
City.
So the whole thing to do is you got to see that your syntax and word order in English is provided by the endings of these nouns. So Tessa, give me this last one. We're going to do these last two ones and then we're done. Rakshasana bibeti ramaha. Are you muted?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Read it out loud and then we'll start translating.
Okay. Oh, I already lost it. Rakshanana.
Rakshasana. Just make the na a little longer. Yeah, you got it.
There it is. I knew
There it
to
is.
say that. Rakshasana
Mm-hmm.
bibeti ramaha.
All right. First off, where's my verb?
This be
Yes.
okay, because it's got the TI ending.
Yeah,
right?
that's your main indicator here that it's a verb. Now, this is the third class parasmaipada, and it means to fear. And is it in the he form, the you form, or the I form?
He, she, it.
Yeah, so he, she, it fears. Now, where's my nominative?
Ramaha.
There you go. So now you got your little verb, your little sentence. Rama fears. So we know we're looking at ablatives, and we know Rama is very brave. So how are we going to deal with this over here?
That's what he fears.
There's Sunday.
Oh, there's Sunday, sure.
There's Sunday. So that's just a na. So split that na off, right? Now, when a ta encounters a single na, what happens?
The double N.
Yeah, it's not that it's a double. Well, it is that it's a double N, but the ta turns into a na, and the na stays the same. And that na is attached because it's the dental class of the nasals. So what you really have here is rakshasat na bibeti ramaha. So rakshasa, we've had that before, means the demons. Now, is rakshasan or is that rakshasan? Oh, actually, it could be. Could do a couple of different things. But rakshasan is rakshasat, which is the ablative. So we have ablative. We have the ablative, demons, the na, which is indeclinable, our verb be, and our singular nominative masculine. So how would you translate this?
Rama does not fear the demons.
Yes, you start out, you straight up go, Rama fears. And then you think, Rama doesn't fear anything. Rama does not fear or does not have fear. We'll get more verbs soon. He does not have fear from the demons. This is where I was talking about that affect thing. You have fear. You're afraid from fear. Is how I always remember it. Atlas.
I'm just wondering how you might know that that's not another case.
I can't hear you. What?
How you would know that that's not another case with Sandy.
There can be ambiguity. You have to know your Sunday. So you could look at it and say Rakshasan as being what? That could also be plural accusative. But that would be, yeah, and then you could double it up there. So I guess it could be plural accusative. You just know from context. So in this one, you see that it's an ablative. Or I think it could also be a masculine plural accusative, Raman. But from here,
So it's determined by the verb itself,
the
basically.
verb, yeah. So the verb will tell you who the number of the nominative of the subject, the number of the subject. Then your negative goes onto your verb. But when you get to your ablative over here, the ablative is going to nuance the verb in this sense. So the ablative is working like the ablative is working here as a source.
I'm just wondering basically why it couldn't also be accusative.
It could also be
Since
accusative.
fearing something that
Yeah.
other something could be an object.
It
So
could.
I'm wondering,
Yeah.
like, do we need to look up in the dictionary, basically, like, he only works with dative? Is that the sort of information we're looking for? Or can we start interpreting it either way? if
I
that's
wouldn't
not-
interpret it either way because of the rule that the source of fear goes in the dative. That would be the
Okay.
rule that they would say. They would say fourth class verbs of fear.
Okay.
So
thanks.
the reason Goldman gives you this is you can look at it, but you would say Rama does not fear. Yeah, it doesn't. It's because I have more Sanskrit than you. It doesn't work in the accusative, but when you look at it in English, it should work. You should be able to say, I am afraid of a Rakshasa. But Rama is not afraid from the demons, the Rakshasas. So your rule there, and if you don't remember it, which is fine, when you look up be to fear, you'll find in most dictionaries, it will say with ablative. So it'll actually make a notation of that. All right, last one. All right. Who else is out? Who wants to go? Last one, real quick. Sarah.
Okay. Oh.
Sorry. Get out.
Ramadivana Kavayodaya.
Hold on, there's an error there. I gotta fix it. So that's Ramadvina. Come on. Okay. All right. So Ramadvina qua yodyam or qua yodyan.
Okay. Um. I'm looking for a verb.
Yeah.
Not that. Would it be Ramadvi? Ramadvi?
There's no verb. It's
Okay.
an implied us.
Okay.
So you have Ramad Vina. That should be a short I. I completely bungled that one. Qua ayodhya. Now we have that Vina is similar to the Vina we saw with instrumental that meant without.
Okay.
And the English is really hard on this one. So qua means it's what or where, and it's kind of an indeclinable. And then at the end you have ayodhya. Now, ayodhya is kind of great because it's our first solid feminine noun we've looked at. So first singular feminine for ayodhya, which is the hometown and kingdom of Rama. Then you have an indeclinable that is like an interrogative. It's asking a question. And then you have Vina, which means sort of without, and Ramat. So if you put this into words, I'm going to put it into words and I want you to do it again. It's as if someone is saying out loud, wondering out loud, where is Ayodhya without Rama? Or if without Rama, where is Ayodhya?
Mhm.
Or you could even stretch it and say, what is Ayodhya? But it's really more like, where is this town of Ayodhya without Rama? The point of this is to see this vina that means without. This is a tricky one. So could you read this one more time and give me your translation?
Ramadvina, short I.
Yeah.
Kavayod. Kavayodya.
Yes.
Without Rama. Where is Avyodhya?
Ayodhya. Yeah, that's really, I think that's the best way to do it, to get it into English. Without Rama, where is Ayodhya? The argument would be that there is no Ayodhya without Rama, because we're dealing with Ramayana here. Okay, we went a little bit over. I'm sorry on that, but we are going to get through. We got through 10 slides today. We are going to have a quiz on kanyā on Tuesday, and we're going to finish this. And then on Thursday, we will have a reading day where we'll be doing the reading, and that's going to be very exciting. So chapter 5 there are some tricky concepts on it, but it's not that long. And one of the things you can do, because you know that this is how I'm going to teach, is you can read ahead and figure out the examples in advance. Or you can cheat like my other students do and just have the book out. Be following along with the book. And honestly, that's what my pundit did when we learned. We just have our books open and he would just talk through all of the exact examples. For me, I kind of resonate with what Atlas is saying. It's like, once I have the meaning down, then I can reverse and see the grammar more clearly. However, as I've learned, there is this other thing that happens. And that's that when you're looking at a sentence and you don't know the meaning, you are forced to only look at the grammar. So what you would do when you're reading Sanskrit on your own is, if you come across, 4 words you don't know, you would look to figure out what their roots are from the grammar. Then you would look them up. And then after looking the words up, then you would apply the grammar to it. So one of the reasons why it's good to not be looking at your book and being on the fly is you're practicing just identifying the words right away. And I've always wondered, would it be better to teach if I never had students do that? If I just told them what the words were every time, or even just explained the grammar and had them put it into English? And I tried it and it didn't work as well. So I hear your concern, Alice. I understand your frustration. But hey, at least you got all your teeth.
Can I ask a quick question about homework that's
Yes.
due? Are we handing in our translation of this assignment, just the English translation?
Yes, let's do that on Tuesday.
Okay, because it shows that it's due tonight by midnight, and
I will make that change immediately.
Okay, so we have it till Tuesday to get that to you.
Yeah, because I want you to have time to read through it, and I will always give you one more time than I will always give you a period. I will always give you to the next class after we finish. After we finish your reading.
And then but do we just give you the English translation?
Yep, the English translation is fine.
Thank you.
Yep.
So
I mean, you can make whatever notes you want on there, and I'll start talking on Tuesday about another little thing that we'll be doing with the reading. But for now, read chapter 5, start translating it as best you can. And when it comes to that, next Thursday, we'll read just like we did today, just like we did last week, and we'll go through everything. If you don't know stuff, that's fine. I will help you. But students do best the more they prepare and try to get their heads around it, because then when like Tessa was saying one time, she's like, I struggled with this so long. And then when I told her, she was like, oh, that's how it works. Now, if I just told you how it works and you hadn't struggled on it, it wouldn't have stuck in your head like glue. So there's something about the way the brain works preparing to read those translations. So I always tell my students, and I don't have my students turn in good translations before the reading class. That should come after. What I want you to do, though, is I want you to have good notes and having tried to figure out all of the grammar. Now, because we've gotten through today, I will submit to the entire class my write-up notes, so you can have that for your records. Okay, good work today, y'all. We are making such good progress. We are going to get through chapter 6. Dr. Williams is going to be happy. And I want you to know one other thing with all these damned quizzes. One of the things he talked to me about was when he wants to start teaching Sanskrit too, he's like, students have to be able to know that Ramena is instrumental, that kanyā is feminine dative. And so I am pushing you through these pretty hard and pretty fast. But once we get to chapter 6, then I want to have activities in every class where we're chanting and reviewing, because you need to have these core paradigms cold so you can move into Sanskrit 2 and not be looking up paradigms all the time. Every hour you spend doing this will save you hours and hours later. Okay. Does anybody else need to see me? All right, then sign up. Atlas, can you hang on for a second, please?
Thank
Atlas?
you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Great work today. I'm very proud of all of you.